Greetings, everybody. I'm here today to speak with my good man, Brent Williams. Brent Williams is associated with Lund-Ross Constructors. We're going to talk with him today about journey in the construction industry, things that took to get him here today, and the outlooks that you have for the future as it relates to the industry. Before we get started, Mr. Williams, just briefly introduce yourself and tell us, how long you've been in the construction industry.
My name is Brent Williams. Like I said, I'm with Lund-Ross Constructors. I've been in the construction industry for about 40 years. Started about in '82. Needed a job, man. I had a buddy whose dad was an architect. He was a field engineer, and I needed a job before I got married. I said, hey man, I'm looking for some work. I was going to school to be an over-road truck driver, and I wanted to stay around the house, and gave me an opportunity, and I took it.
Tell me about, I guess your first position in the construction industry. What was it? What was your wages? What type of things that you had to do to get to that?
I walked into this place, offered the introduction, and said, hey, my name's Brent. I heard you were looking for laborers. We don't hire laborers, we only hire carpenters. That's why I guess I'm a carpenter. And it went from there. Got an opportunity, got a job. I was in the union when I first got started. So we were having problems during that time in getting into the union. But because I had already secured a job, the union had to take me. Because there wasn't a whole lot of blacks in the union back in '82. So I was able to get in, secure the position, went to the union. They had to enroll me. Okay. So I went to apprenticeship training. It worked for, it was flat construction. I was a framer, framing houses.
So you was doing a lot of the hard work, if you will.
Doing the hard work, yeah, man. That's where I got my start.
Let's fast forward to now. So who you are now and what are you doing now? What's your role now?
I am a vice president for Lund-Ross. I handle all of field operations. We're a general contractor that does anywhere from $50 to $100 million a year.
What do you think were the tools that you gathered over time that helped you get to where you are?
Perseverance and hard work, man. This is a field where you can get in with not a lot of experience, but with a will to want to learn and work, you can carve out a decent living for yourself.
In your current role now, vice president, what types of projects do you like to oversee?
I handle all the field operations, so all of the placement of the construction is under me. I fire the superintendents that actually run the projects and the labor that we use. We don't self-perform a lot of work. We probably self-perform about 10 to 15% of our own work. We have carpenters and a couple of laborers. And I've been with Lund-Ross now for 35 plus years. We started off as a historic renovation contractor. So we do most of the historic renovation in the city of Omaha we've done. When I was in the field, when I was working, before I became a partner in the company, I was a superintendent. So I came up, carpenter's foreman, to a superintendent, to being vice president of the company. So I've had all the roles that you would have as you come up. So, I built a lot of projects here in Omaha where I was in the field personally, day-to-day operations in the field. Now, I wish I could, but I don't get to all the jobs that often, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. So I don't have that hands-on with the job. Again, when I was out there in it, I was out there in it.
What are some of the opportunities do you see for a new construction company who's coming into the industry?
It's actually a good time and a bad time. Where there's a lot of growth out there. There's a lot of things that's getting ready to start. Omaha is a place where a lot of things are going on right now. There's a lot of good opportunities out there. The problem is getting your foot in the door with some experienced people so you can get to work. It's one thing to get to work. It's another thing to finish the job. There's a vast difference in the two. Anybody can get a job. Not everybody can finish the job, but you got to know what you're doing. Or have people that with you that know what they're doing. And that's what people tend to miss the boat on a lot of things. They're not focusing on the end result. If you give somebody a good number, you gotta have a good number. This is an industry where money matters. And so you can't be the highest guy out there. You don't necessarily want to be the lowest guy out there either, but you need to be somewhere in between. And then after that point, you can give somebody a good number and produce a good product and produce that good product in the right amount of time. You can be successful.
So tell me some of the common mistakes that you see that companies make.
Good companies jump out there not knowing what they're getting into. They want to start. They think there's a lot of money to be made, and there's not a lot of money to be made. We operate on, our average margin our markup is 2.5% to 4%. They think there's 15, 20 as a general contractor, 15, 20%, 30% margins out there.
Yeah.
That's not what this industry does. You know, we make ours on the cumulative growth of the whole, not just the one job. So there's not easy, fast money, but there's good, steady streams that you can have. Nobody's going to rehire you if you screw the job. So you need to get the job and do a good job for somebody, but you got to make money at it. So how do you? That's the rub. How do you make money at something and give somebody a good product without having experience, or have somebody along with you that has some experience? Being new to the block is tough to do because you don't know what you don't know. You can get some of it out of a book, and some of it you can't. Some of it you just got to get nasty and dirty and figure it out. So. And look, and you need one for the other. Once you know how to do the work, then you know how to keep your money, right, and grow your money. And unfortunately, that's what the other guy who starts in the field sometimes is lacking when he starts to try to start his company. He doesn't have the education side. He has the physical side. He has the putting stuff in place side, but he doesn't have the other side that it takes to run a successful business. It's when you get both of those together, it's when you're rocking and rolling and you can get some stuff done.
You mentioned earlier about numbers and the timeline. So in your role, how do you ensure that you're providing good numbers and making sure that you are meeting all the deadlines and requirements?
Two different things. The numbers are an upfront part. When you get the job done in a timely manner is a back end. That's what I do. We have people on staff. We've done this a long time. We use some historical data. We know what the trends are, and they're just very smart people to be able to go out and put the right numbers together for things that we're doing. And if you combine that with being able to figure out the best way to build it, because there's different ways to build something, to be more efficient, that gets you to that end date of what you have to have. And if you have a client who needs something done in 6 months, and you know that you figured out that it's going to take you 8 months, how are you going to get that done?
So tell me about your most difficult project and what made it so difficult.
Well, we got a tough one going right now. We're in Plattsmouth, Nebraska. We're doing a historical renovation of an old school, turning into apartments, and it's probably sitting vacant for 20, 25 years. A lot of deterioration, and we're having to go in and bring it back to life. New buildings, pretty simple, man. You break ground, you pour some footings, you put some steel up or some block, and you build a thing and let it go. That's what makes these historical renovation buildings interesting, because you never know what you're going to run into every day. Everything's different. So that's been challenging. That's what I did a lot in my career, was the tough renovation job. I like those. I got to kick up.